And you are very close to the governor,
Yes.
so I can ask you a lot
Please,
of questions.
feel free.
Now, you spoke about IGR, 16 billion is going to increase. We watching from here, taxes have gone up in Edo State. School fees in AAU has gone up in Edo State. Can you explain ways in which you increase IGRs that would not impact on diaspora or normal
So
citizens?
the man has just explained a few of them. First, he talked about tourism. He talked about the British Buckingham Palace that generates about $6 billion or £6 billion annually for people to just come and look. And he says that if we could remodel and improve, the tourism around our monarchy in Edo South, which is the Oba Benin, Oba Atokbe, and we drive visitors towards that direction, that increases flow into the state. He talked about moribund industries, and he said that they're going to be revamping them and bringing them back to the market for investments to flow into it. Once investment flow into this moribund industry and they start to produce, then people are going to purchase the products. Once they purchase the products, there's going to be value-added tax, there's going to be state taxes, there's going to be, these companies are going to make profit and pay taxes back to government, and then revenues will go up. So when you talk about revenues going up, doesn't necessarily mean going to add more to the people who are already paying. It also means expanding the purse from where the revenues are flowing. And if you expand investment in agriculture, if you expand investment in industry, if you expand investment in mining, then more revenue will come into the state.
Please introduce yourself
My
and
name
how
is
long.
Crusoe, Special Advisor to Governor Obaseki on media projects.
And how long have you worked with the governor?
Yeah, I worked with the governor for 7.5 years, the entire administration.
Hassan Ighodalo and Osagie have been in government for about 16 to 24 years with the Ossiomo administration, with the Obaseki. Why do they want to run now? What is different?
So there's a lot of transformation that has happened in Edo State, which many people, as a matter of fact, the two other people who running against Hassan Ighodalo and Osagie can't understand. You cannot develop what you can't understand. For example, when Hassan Ighodalo was talking about developments in Edo State, he talked about Edo State being the only state in Nigeria that has gone full paperless. We work on ERP, an enterprise resource platform, which we call EduGov, which we used to work. You sign in as a state executive council member, myself, and any public servant in Edo State. You're connected on eGov. I have a tab that I carry along. I brought it along with me to England. You log in, you send your memos there, you write your letters there, you ask for permission to travel there. You do everything concerning government So imagine if you bring someone into government who can't understand what we have done. How will they build on it? That is just for the ERP with which you run government. What about the revolution we brought to land administration, CFOs in Edo State?
Okay.
What about the transformation we have brought into economic development? What about the transformation we have brought into education? All our teachers teach using tabs.
Okay, hold on.
So there's a lot of very high-tech, sophisticated, deep thought that has gone into government, which we believe that only people of this caliber can understand and therefore build on what is on the ground.
Now, another thing that worried me, and I'm sorry I had to bring you out here because Hassan Ighodalo is there addressing the crowd. With the Ossiomo power plant, I want to connect it to nightlife in Edo State. In order for people to earn more money, then businesses have to be open for longer hours.
Yes.
With electricity only serving government buildings, it's not exactly impacting the normal people. What are your plans?
It's not as bad as you think. Electricity serving government buildings first, then the residual serves private people. As we speak, Hallmark in Benin supermarket is on Ossiomo Power. As we speak, Market Square in Benin is on Ossiomo Power. As we speak, Rain restaurant, one of the biggest play places for children on Sapele, is on
Can
Ossiomo
anybody
Power.
get on Ossiomo Power?
Yeah,
Can anybody?
At the moment, I think they've stretched their capacity. The total capacity for Ossiomo Power is about 95 megawatts, and they've supplied most of that. They are now planning train 2 of Ossiomo to increase from 95 to double that amount. Electricity investment is expensive, particularly the transmission and distribution. So that is what they are working on now. But the thing is that with Ossiomo Power, Obaseki has shown some sort of proof of concept that you can actually only build power plants as a state that can serve your people. What our incoming governor, by the grace of God, Dr. Ossiomo has said tonight, is that his plan is to ensure that there is at least one power plant in each senatorial district.
Crusoe,
And then that expands access.
I've asked you many questions. I want to ask you one now. Right. Let me ask you. This election is crucial. Yeah. It's either going to be the extermination of the local politicians or the extermination of the technocrats. As you speak in continuity now. But let me put it the next 4 years. If you say it's continuity now, would it not be continuity in the next 4 years too as well? When your administration is finishing, you will also bring people of, say, these people of similar caliber, and they're the ones to carry.
If you take a look at the kind of candidate who are parading, they are not the kind of people that people can bring. Look at Ossiomo, for example. Ossiomo is an accomplished private sector expert. He's built the largest law firm in Africa, largest business law firm in Africa. He's been chairman of the biggest companies in Africa. He's an accomplished man. He has succeeded in his career. He's succeeded in his contribution to society. He's now coming to contribute to development of his people. So he's not the kind of person you bring. He's the kind of person who makes up his mind that he wants to do this. And it's only when we begin to have those kinds of people running government that we're likely going to get the best value for our people. That's why we have the likes of them coming. And we're hoping that in the future, only the likes of these kinds of accomplished Edo people will take office. Because when people like this take office, they do more for the people than for themselves. Because for themselves, they have already accomplished all that there is to accomplish.
Whether they're with you or not, as long as they can prove that.
Doesn't matter where they are from. As long as they can prove their accomplishment in their own lives, in the lives of people around them. Ossiomo is one of the principal partners or one of the founders of Banwo and Igodalo. On Awolowo Road, at least, I think, the biggest law firm in Nigeria, if not in Africa.
We have that.
The lawyers who work in Ossiomo, they earn the highest remuneration across Africa.
Okay, just because of
not less than 2,000 people work in that organization.
I know.
If you have built that for yourself, then you can say that you have the capacity to build something even bigger for the people. Not for somebody who has never built anything, who has never employed anybody, who has never paid any salaries, to suddenly come and say he wants to run a state. So that's what we're trying to change in Edo. We're hoping that in the future, only the likes of these will rule our state.
You're a nice man. I like your answer. Now, let's come back to Manifesto. In the Manifesto being launched, that was brought here to Diaspora, very nice, I have to say. It's missing some things. First, there is no costing and there is no timeline for projects. It seems to be vague that we're going to do this, but it's not very specific. What do you say?
It's not vague at all. If you listen to Ossiomo's presentation today, he said that the current, monthly earnings that comes into Edo State is about 16 billion every month, which when you combine the internally generated
So
revenue,
we have a figure. We have a figure.
When you combine internally generated revenue to FAC allocations that we get. And he said that his goal is to raise it to 100 billion a month. So you already have a sense of a figure. So the distribution of these resources into different sectors that have been, if you look at the prosperity for all, you see that it covers 5 major areas that include environment, includes the economy, includes.
But that's why I'm trying to stop you to say, if you pick one project that is going to do within the within the sub projects of, like you talk, various kinds of development. Can you pick a project and say, we're starting this now and we're finishing this now? Well, guess why I ask you that? Because he said the Gele, they're now at the stage. This is the first time I've heard it tonight, that they're at the stage of sourcing money.
We have your preferred bidder.
But then, you see, many people would have been saying, because Godwin Obaseki said this 8 years ago, they would have expected this to be an operation, working operation at this time. With the things in your manifesto now, can you tell us what you can complete, what you do?
Everything in the manifesto as it is right now does not specify, we're going to this particular road from this kilometer to that kilometer. That's why we still call it a final draft. But you see, by the time we're done consulting our people, For example, if you say you want to build a road in Oredo local government, the people who live there are the ones who are going to be able to tell you which of the roads are most important to them, which one you should build before the other one, and so on and so forth. So if you just conclude a document and throw it and thrust it on the people, it's a bit disrespectful. It's better to take the inputs of these people before you conclude that document. That is what we're doing now.
So you say there's more to come?
Yes, there's more to come.
Okay, thank you very much for saying that. Now, in terms of budgets, would it still be the same thing that the budgets allocated to each project, there's more to come?
Like I said, he's given us an idea of how much he plans to raise monthly to run the state, and then these funds will be allocated as they come in to deal with the different challenges he wants to solve or he wants to deal with in the course of his administration.
In this campaign for Ossiomo Ighodalo, you've been out campaigning very early. Some people say you have spread your message so much and the energy is not as much as it used to be in the beginning. What do you want to say?
Yeah, well, the elections are in phases. There's the primaries and pre-primaries campaigns. So that's what kicked off all of this process. And at that time, a lot of energy had to go into it because the PDP is a very large and vibrant party. So if you're going to have to get a ticket to represent the party, then you have to do a lot of campaigning. So that's why the campaign started early.
About reducing the impact. Currently now we know what's going on in Nigeria. There's hardship, there's hunger, there's everything. With this administration is finishing, would you be cutting cost anywhere? Would you be reducing school fees? Would you be reducing the cost of food? Would you be reducing anything?
Well, there's a lot of cost push for inflation in Nigeria that don't border entirely on the state. For example, the state government does not set interest rates. The state government does not set crude oil prices, petroleum prices.
Yeah.
All of these influence the cost of goods and services. What the candidate of PDP, in the next election, Ossiomo Ighodalo has said today is that what he's guaranteeing us is that he's going to work towards growing the economy and therefore growing the earning capacity of the average Edo person.
But
once that happens, then that person is then able to rise to.
Let me ask you, what is what are you sure? What is in your control now in terms of cost cut? Is it the price of food? Is it school fees? What can you cost? Is it rent? What can you reduce in the state?
Yeah, well, you don't reduce the cost of things by legislation. Okay. You reduce the cost of things by increasing production. When supply into the market increases, the prices of things go down. Yeah. It's a simple.
But the spike in prices, it is not. These factors didn't come into play. It was because of the way Nigeria was going. Subsidy was removed, and all of a sudden the impact is dropped on the normal person.
Subsidies were removed and companies could not produce at the levels at which they were producing before, and the inputs for production increased, and so the prices of things went up. So if you expand production, if you improve the efficiency of production, then you can also get supply to increase, and therefore prices can begin to come down.
You're a good man. Let me talk to you about Diaspora. This is the one everybody has been talking about, Diaspora Commission. I'm here in the Diaspora. Can I just beg you first, before you lay your plans out, that we have round pegs in round holes in Diaspora. Is your government planning to disrupt that or work with what we have?
Now, if you listen to the incoming governor, by the grace of God, Barrister Ossiomo Ighodalo today, he talked about the diaspora extensively and said that the hope of development of our country lies largely on the capacity that Edo people have developed in the diaspora, and by no means is he going to work towards disrupting that. If you also listen to him, he mentioned that he's aware that the Diaspora Commission has been put together. It's just that it has not been activated. I believe, and there are a lot of people working with him that have deep insights with respect to the way diaspora functions in the UK and other parts of the world. For example, the former Commissioner of Tourism and Diaspora, that's Osagie, has deep insights. He's a Deputy Director General in his campaign. They are going to guide him to ensure that the people who get positions, to manage the diaspora are people who, have the interests of the people at heart and people who have been doing the job from long before.
I thank you. Just a few more questions. It's good. I'm talking to you because we've not seen you. This is your first time of coming here.
Yes.
We've had a lot of Japa, especially to the United Kingdom. A lot of health workers leaving Nigeria, all the doctors, all the nurses. What is the government's plan to retain?
Very simple. The governor saw this coming, so he first shut down the ramshackle College of Nursing Sciences that was in Edo State and built the biggest and most effective College of Nursing Sciences in the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa in Benin City on Sapele Road. He also did the same thing with the College of Science College of, they call it School of Health, College of Health Technology. It has been rebuilt. So those are places who train pharmacy technicians, or train dental technicians, or train laboratory scientists, or train all those kinds of people who provide services in the care industry. Then also the College of Nursing, where we train nurses, the midwives, nephrology nurses, mental health nurses, and so on and so forth. And as we speak, we're churning out tons and tons of experts in these different...
Are they staying in the States?
And we don't even care whether they stay. That's our strategy. We are even putting a language school inside these institutions to teach them other languages apart from English, German, French, Italian, because we have 70% of our population under the age of 40.
Okay.
And we have a population of over 5 million people in Edo State. So calculate 70% of 5 million people. And our Edo people are aspirational, they're intelligent, they're sharp. So we are just going to be churning them out. If diaspora wants to take, let them take the ones they want to take. We will train more.
Okay.
At a point, we're going to reach saturation point where diaspora is going to have enough, and then we have people. And then mind you, when you send one person to diaspora, you're empowering hundreds of people back home, because people go to diaspora, earn top dollar, repatriate some of these funds to support their communities.
You're a good man. We in diaspora, we've seen prices of food, prices of transport, school fees go up, and prices of electricity, which is what we're talking about. Which one is in your control? Can you bring down the prices BDC are charging the people? It's very high. Can you bring down the school fees? There must be one.
But in economics, there's what we call, a reduction in price as a result of the volume.
Other economic factors, yes.
As well as volume that you supply. So by the time Ossiomo Power is giving power to maybe 50% or 40% of the population, then the overhead spreads across every consumer. Then the price starts coming down. At the beginning, right now they're serving only government and a few people. By the time they begin to take more people on board, the overheads are spread across the increasing customer.
What is your timeline? What is your timeline for the prices to start coming down?
This government is ending in November.
3 months' time, yes.
And this incoming governor, by the grace of Almighty God, Dr. Ossiomo, has promised that he's taking 12 months to prove to you people in diaspora that he's really ready for business and to earn your trust. So I can say, give us 12 months to come back to you and tell you what we've done and show you where we're trying to take you.
Crusoe, thank you very much. This is a very good interview. You're a wonderful man.
I'm happy to be here.